Vine, rose, Merovingian rose jewelry, are old symbols of the bleeding of dragon princess. It is deeply hidden under divine holy bloodline symbology. Merovingians are blue-blooded, but they are symbolized with vine, red. Because they are blue bloods married with sacred red bloods. The lineage of the Merovingian kings was called the vine. The Bible classifies the descendants of Israel as a vine, the line of Judah being described at some length as the Lord's cherished plant, Isaiah 5:7. Some medieval portrayals of Jesus show him in a winepress, accompanied by the statement I am the true vine, John 15:1. Some Grail emblems and watermarks depict a chalice containing clusters of grapes, the fruit and seeds of the vine. From the grape comes wine, and the wine of the Eucharist is the eternal symbol of the blood of Jesus. Just as the lily was the accepted symbol of Mary's virginity, so the rose was the symbol of her beauty. She was often depicted holding a rose, or in a rose garden, as in the Madonna of Cesare di Seso, and the Madonna of the Rose Bush by Martin Sharon. The two concepts both derive from the Song of Solomon 2:1. I am the rose of Sharon, and the lily of the valleys. From very early on the lily was called the fleur de marie, and it was for this reason that the gladiolus lily, in its Judaic fleur-de-lis form, was adopted by the Merovingian kings to signify their messianic descent in France. In mystic circles, the menstrual flower, she who flows, has long been the designated flower and is represented as a lily or a lotus. Indeed, the definition flower is the very root of our modern word flower. In ancient Sumer, the key females of the dragon succession were all venerated as lilies, having such names as Lili Luluwa Lilutu, Lilutu, and Lillette. This was also related to the starfire blood of Annunaki goddesses. In Parzival, it is said of the Grail queen that she bore the perfection of earthly paradise, both roots and branches. According to the New Testament Gospel of John 15:5, Jesus said, I am the vine, ye are the branches. Psalm 88 reads, Thou hast brought a vine out of Egypt, thou hast cast out the heathen, and planted it. In the original Grail legends there were constant references to the Grail family, the Grail dynasty, and the custodians, or guardians, of the Grail. Quite apart from legend, the Knights Templars of Jerusalem were the guardians of the song Grail. The associated priory of Notre Dame de Sion became allied to the Merovingian bloodline in particular, and it was the Merovingian descendant Godefroy de Bouillon, Duke of Lower Lorraine, who was installed as defender of the Holy Sepulchre and King of Jerusalem in 1099. Cups and stones aside, the importance of the Grail exists in its definition as the Song Grail. From this came San Grail equals Stan Graal equals Saint Grail equals Holy Grail. More correctly, it was the Sangreal, the blood royal, carried by the uterine chalice of Mary Magdalene. As detailed in medieval literature, the Grail was identified with a family and a dynasty. It was the desposinic vine of Judah, perpetuated in the West through the blood of the Messiah. The lineage of Jesus included the Fisher kings and Lancelot Acqs. It descended to the Merovingian kings of France and the Stewart kings of Scots, and included such reputed figures as Guilhelm de Gelone and Godefroy de Bouillon. Vivian d'Elacqs was a descendant of Joseph of Arimathea, Saint James the Just, and the dynastic queens of Avalon, who descend from the Counts of Toulouse in Burgundy, France. She was reportedly the wife of the great Druidic bard Taliesin, and the mother of Igraine, of Arthurian legend. In descent from Jesus' brother James, Joseph of Arimathea, the Grail family founded the House of Camelot, Colchester, and the princely House of Wales. Notable in these lines were King Lucius, Colhen, Empress Helena, Ceredig Guledig, and King Arthur. The divine legacy of the Sangreal was perpetuated in the sovereign and most noble houses of Britain and Europe, and it is still extant today. Since vine represents the messianic bloodline, it follows that the vineyard is the place where that vine will flourish. About 2 centuries after the Council of Constance in 1417, Archbishop Usher of Armagh, the 17th century compiler of Bible chronology, commented on the council records. From these he quoted, "Immediately after the Passion of Christ, Joseph of Arimathea proceeded to cultivate the Lord's vineyard, that is to say, England." It is apparent from the annals of saintly genealogy and bardic pedigree that the messianic line of the song Grail came into Britain from 1st century Gaul. In the Lord's vineyard, the line flourished to become the princely House of Wales. In parallel, another branch of the vine conjoined with the great kings of Camelot and Siluria. It was by no chance that Prince Linus, son of Caractacus, became the first bishop of Rome. Neither was it a fluke of circumstance that Helena, Princess Elaine of Camelot, daughter of Britain's Cole II, married Emperor Constantius. By way of this alliance, Rome was attached to the Judean royal succession which it had tried so hard to suppress by other means. Saint Helena's son was Constantine the Great. Having a Celtic Christian mother of a Desposynic line, Constantine was not slow to proclaim himself the true Messiah, even though his father's predecessors had been savage persecutors of the Christian movement. Constantine did not choose a religion for his country, he obtained an eternal divine right to rule, to his dynasty. From 1,000 years before, only Jewish, Egyptian or Babylon royals had the most divine bloods. So at one point Rome royalty gave up fighting with ancient dynasties and mixed with them.